Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co host Chip. What is going on, Chip? This is an amazing day today here on the chain in the beautiful state of Florida, sunny
Freedom.
Florida, where it's snowing and cold everywhere else, both lack of freedom wise and weather wise everywhere else. But the free state of Florida, XRP, you know what? Crypto, Chip, is disrupting money. Crypto is disrupting the financial infrastructure of the world. There's a Supreme Court ruling that's really important that we have to discuss today. Brad Garlinghouse was interviewed and he said that U.S. innovation isn't just going to leave, it is already fleeing the U.S. And we want to talk a little bit about Hadera Hashgraph. Why? Why not, Chip?
Why not? There's a lot of other great projects out there, Jeff. We got to get into it. You guys ready to go? Well, let's do it. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome to On the Chain, everybody. Listen, welcome. Thank you for being here today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're joining us. If you're watching us on the replay, guys, we really appreciate you being here. And the best way you can support the channel is to subscribe. You can like the video right now if you happen to be watching it. Click that notification bell. That way you get notified most of the time when we go live. If you're feeling extra special generous, you can also send us a super chat. Or if you're watching on the replay, thank you. We got one this morning. Someone had, we frequently get those in the rewatch where you can buy, I don't know what it's called, but there's a thing you can click on the video and you can do it that way. So it's not a super chat, it's on the rewatch. That's it. So we love you guys, man. Let's have a great, wow, to play the wow. We haven't done that wow thing in a while, Jeff, but we are
done
going
a lot
to
of things in a while.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we've kind of been getting away. There you go, everybody. So let's jump right into it, guys. Drop where you're from. Jeff will throw it up there while I jump into this first story here, but he'll jump where you guys are from, city, country. We always like to see where you guys are coming in from. So I thought this was a very bada chicka boom, bada jing, bada boom. So I thought this was pretty good. This was so Ripple and NZ, New Zealand. This is a good one, and I thought it'd be good. It's kind of a good reminder here, and let's go through this take, Jeff. Let's kind of like mini workshop this tweet thread.
Let's do it.
And another OG in the space and very respected, but Ripple and NZ. So. Said today I was direct messaged and asked about my thoughts about the price of XRP and then my perceived pessimism around XRP price. It gave me the opportunity to write down my thoughts. Not everyone will agree. And again, we're going to workshop this, but a basic thread of my thoughts, and hopefully it makes you think too. So let's go through this, guys, and let's hear your comments. Drop comments either on the chat or the rewatch. So he says, well, what is XRP? It is a utility token that was developed as the native token of the XRPL. And the only utility that expressly has on the XRP is to facilitate transactions by either one of two ways, a payment of a fee or to pay collateral by way of an account or other reserves. Sounds on point so far, right, Jeff?
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, so far so good. Okay, so then he goes on to say that all other functionality XRP has also enjoyed by other tokens issued in the XRPL, as it's the XRP ledger, better known as the XRPL, that offers the functionality, not the XRP. And so this is an important distinction, which I believe most people probably know. But again, what makes everything possible is the whole idea of the XRP ledger, which also has the decentralized exchange, which also provides the interoperability. XRP is a token. So it goes on to say, as an example, the efficiencies of the network are enjoyed by all tokens issued in it, like Casino Coin, Solo, XR Doge, XMeta, etc., etc. So apart from paying fees or collateral, each of them can be used in the same way as XRP. So each can transact in 4 seconds. Each can be used in cross-border transactions. Each can be used for payments, etc. So then when we look at where XRP sits among all these tokens, XRP sits alongside each of them with equal rights at the table, and each is after the same dollar out of your pocket. He's referring to necessarily a dollar, but the value that you currently have, whatever fiat that may be. They're competitors of each other and they coexist on one network. That's the XRP ledger. NFTs have their own identity on the XRP ledger. And as you guys know, here's shameless plug. We are launching soon the Badass Yetis, which stick around for that. We'll get into that a little bit later. So the NFTs are their own identity on XRPL and are of no direct benefit to XRP's value. So where does XRP currently get its value? Well, it's used for the purchase of other assets on the XRP ledger, but pathfinding also offers the opportunity to avoid XRP. Then we have those who launch utility. The expressly uses the native token XRP in their products. How many can you name that do this? This is Some Wallet is one. Are there more? If so, are you supporting them by buying their product with your XRP?
Man, I thought we were workshopping this. This is lengthy.
Sorry, dude. I was just going to get through a little bit, but so let's just pause right there, Jeff. Let's see, break it down. So everything he said so far, anything you disagree with what's been said here, Jeff, so far?
No, not so far. But I'm going back to, he's talking about like an X Doge, or what was his point with that all the way in the beginning?
Yeah, what he's saying there is that basically, because these are issued on the XRPL, they're the same as XRP.
Okay. So,
yeah, that was like you're having a similar reaction. I'm like, what?
So am I missing something in the beginning? So it says here, all other functionality XRP is also enjoyed by all other tokens issued in the XRPL. So if you roll out a token that, and I guess
like the Yeti token, Jeff,
like the Yeti token. So let's say the Yeti token here is going to find itself utilizing the XRPL. And so in this situation, do they have all the exact same features? Are they going to be as feature rich as one another, or do they each have kind of their own attribute? So I don't know if that's 100% accurate, that maybe they're based on efficiencies, but are they each one going to have the exact same attribute as XRP, or is XRP, standing separately in its class? If you roll out an ERC20 token, does every ERC20 token have the same exact feature as Ethereum, or is it a variation or a subset of Ethereum?
Yeah, but I'm not sure ERC20 is I get where I get the analogy that you're posing there, but
it's going to be the same here, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be based off the XLS 20.
Yeah, but here's so when you talk about Casino Coin, now remember, originally Casino Coin wasn't on the XRP ledger, and then that was a big to do, and then the project it changed hands. They had some issues, and then they came back and they issued it because of all of the value and properties that the XRP ledger offers. So if you want to transact in Casino Coin, it carries the same properties, because again, what the point he's making here is that it's the XRP ledger that does all the work. It's not necessarily the token. So if you issue Casino Coin on the XRP ledger, then it transacts in 4 to 5 seconds. It's interoperable. So my thought was that the only thing that I thought was maybe a little bit different here is that XRP is needed for the interoperability, but maybe not for native tokens. So if you're sending across ETH from, let's say, somebody sending like 1 ETH from Japan to somebody here in the States, and they want to accept it in XRP, then the XRP is doing the decentralized exchange is actually doing the work on the XRP ledger, right? So it's doing the interoperability. But what he's saying here is that native tokens like Casino Coin, Solo, XR Doge, XMeta, all the other ones that have been issued on the XRP ledger basically have the same efficiencies as XRP. And it's the ledger that does all the work.
Right. Yeah. So it is the ledger, but again, just because it's the ledger doing the work and offering the functionality, does that mean that every single asset that is utilizing XRPL will have the exact same feature and efficiency? Well, I guess from an efficiency perspective, the transaction state, moving it rapidly, and the transaction of moving from one wallet to the next, is that going to happen then in a short segment, or but again, so that's from an efficiency perspective now. And it's interesting because there's a lot of commentary on this and it'd be great to get some of the brains out there that can dig into the blockchain specific part. But Hoover, the FUD killer, saying, I thought XRP would be the bridge, not a token to trade as Doge or other tokens.
Okay, but so a distinction here is that, yeah, the XRP, so it's the ledger that does the work in the interoperability world. So because it's decentralized and because you can take any asset and basically convert it to you can take any fiat or digital asset and convert it to either, right? So there's 5,000 plus that you can basically interoperate with. So what this is saying, but if you actually issue a token, this is doing all the work. And if you think about Ripple actually creates software for institutional, mostly a lot. We know about the banks, but there's other institutional treasuries and money transfer businesses that use their software, and the chosen token there, digital asset, is XRP that exclusively uses that. And I think some of the point that he's making here, Ripple and NZ, is talking about the fact is everyone's complaining about price, everyone's bitching about this and that. It was one of the reasons that I'm an early adopter of anything. And Stefan Thomas just recently closed down. What was the name of that, Jeff? Sorry, where you paid $5 a month and you streamed micropayments? That was recently closed down. But you know how many people adopted it? Very few. I always kept my subscription because I believed in the use case, and a lot of people are like,
the idea behind it. So that was a lot of people. Coil. I always believed that Coil was just a beta test case. I never really thought that it was going to be a functional product, even though it failed. But there was no marketing behind it. There wasn't enough, right? They didn't get the word out on the street enough.
But I don't agree with your premise there, because it wasn't a beta case. The blog was a beta case. The blog was a beta use case for it, but they actually had Condé Nast. You could go read a Condé Nast articles all day long with the subscription. You get past that paywall. So, and other publications were using it too. But to your point, they squabbled the money, some of their funds. They didn't put it into marketing. They didn't make any commercials for it. They didn't advertise on Twitter for it. They didn't say, hey, there's a better way. $5 subscription gets you into all these publications.
That would have been awesome.
So early adoption is key. But to your point, it's like, why would you adopt something if it's limited in scope? So if all I can do, like, for example, we no longer get a daily, nobody has Coil subscriptions that watches this anymore. And you know what? It wasn't a lot of XRP, but I got to tell you, it's a missing right now, because every day we would get an email that said you got 1.5 XRP, 2.3 XRP, 0.5 XRP. Every single day we'd get an email like that for somebody that watched the show. Sorry, I didn't hit the sneeze button in time. Oh, but
boom!
I did that time, Jeff. Man, that was a sprayer. Anyway, sneaks into class late. No, you don't sneak in, BZ. We got you red-handed, trying to sneak in the back. So the point he's raising here is like, don't sit there and complain about price and blah, blah, blah. And you don't adopt any of the technology that uses XRP. And this is the point that Ripple and Z is making. So
yeah, to get that mass adoption, right? And that's a really good point, Chip. Could you imagine, had Coil taken off at a commercial level, and it would have been the perfect browser extension to get you in, like you said, for all those different paywall articles, but not just on the blog side, but all of the subscription services. Imagine had they gone to all the different publications, gone to all the news outlets, and say, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to charge, and it wouldn't be $5 a month. Maybe you end up paying $19.99 a month or $29.99 a month for a subscription to Coil, and it gets you access to X number of publications of your choice. You select them, and they give you, and you get access, and you're not, dicking around with it every single time you go. Like you want to look, you go to pull up an article, and it's on, whatever business thing, and you go, and all of a sudden, you can read the first, the thing, but you only get like the first paragraph. Or there's another one on entrepreneur I was going to bring on today, and it was like the first paragraph, and it was a great article. And I'm like, how do I share it with the people? But imagine you have that paywall or releaser. You have a one payment subscription service that unlocks everything. one
No, exactly.
payment that controls them all. It would be really amazing. And they dropped the ball on that. I really firmly believe they dropped the ball on that solution because they
So
already had the browser plugin. They could have rolled it out. They have huge, they could have had huge amounts of money poured into Coil, um, and nothing. So it's either they were serious about developing and rolling that product out,
yeah.
or they were beta testing it for something else and saying they were
Well,
serious.
I don't think they were beta testing it. I just don't think that sometimes developers have hire the right people to be able to promote. When you're looking at growth and scale, you need the right growth and scale people, right? So there's agencies that do this work very well that have have a list of, hey, we started with here and this is what we grew this organization to. It costs money, but if you're going to put the money in the right place, this is where you want to put the money. And I wanted to go into the comments here because Jared brings up a good point too. Cinnamon was another one. And the concept of this micro streaming payments is sometimes lost on people. But if you have a subscription, that $5 on Cinnamon, also micro streamed. The longer you watch the video, the more XRP you could earn. And again, this is another one that was just undercapitalized. A really fantastic idea, but they just were undercapitalized. And this happens sometimes, Jeff. What are you going to do? I mean, there's times where it happens. I mean, it's like it's not always, but it happens. And what are you going to do about it? And
Well,
like here's the other one too.
Cinnamon though. Cinnamon was a tough one. Because you look at all of, there's a couple different platforms out there, Library being one of them. We know that the SEC attacked Library aggressively and it turned into Odyssey. They've got some adoption. Rumble, which is outside of the crypto space, is getting it, but it's very difficult going up against, and that's where Cinnamon, and we said that right from day one, whether it's in crypto, not crypto, unless you're going to pour $1 billion into that company, there's no way they were going to be able to take on YouTube. It was next to impossible. TikTok rolled out something brand new and unique, coming in from China. Who knows how many, billions of dollars the government poured into that product to get that to the state that it's in. But it was something unique. It was, short clip videos. So, and there's something that YouTube adopted also. People want to gobble up, short form video like that. So that's something was brand new that TikTok put out there. But to roll out and try to compete against the behemoth YouTube, which we all know because we're on the YouTube platform, it's extremely, extremely difficult. And even as a creator to then move over to another platform that doesn't have the engagement, it's already difficult enough as a creator to try to get views and subscribers and everything else. And look what we're up against with YouTube because of how they how sometimes we get shut down. But moving over to the Rumble platform, we tried it, and we didn't go hyper aggressive, but we were streaming there side by side with YouTube, and the engagement was marginal at best. I mean, we're talking about, small numbers. But so from a creator perspective, to jump ship is a difficult decision, but a company like Cinnamon Chip to go up against YouTube again, they would have needed at least a half $500 million. I think they'd probably need 500 million, just to dump into marketing blitz all over the world and just continue, just go after it. Maybe more, who knows? And they crashed and burned because what did they have? I don't even know what kind of funding they had. What they have? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of funding. It wasn't enough to get them anywhere.
No, but Rumble has successfully done it. Rumble has successfully done it, gone public.
They have.
But again, a lot of money went into it. And again, is it anywhere near YouTube? Not even close. Not even a drop in the bucket. Like almost non-existent, because look, YouTube put together a great product and built it over time. They acquired it. They didn't build it. They acquired it, but they turned it into a powerhouse, And if you look at Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, I think it's 10 or 11% of their overall revenue is now derived from YouTube. Did $15 billion last year. And then if you think about that, the creators on the channel that share in that revenue, YouTube takes 30%, 70% goes to creators. So if they made $15 billion, imagine how much they paid out to creators. It's a lot of money, right? So you're looking at another, 75 million plus.
That one's to you, Chip.
Coil is Stefan Tomas's baby. He never abandoned it. Schwartz and Stefan had completed it. Future plans. Yeah, the Interledger is going to continue, and then his new project that's adjunct to that is going to continue. But Coil itself is essentially dead as a product. There are no more subscriptions. They shut down the subscriptions. I think it's this month. I think it's the 4th or 5th of this month, because we still are getting the emails. We did get one yesterday, I believe. But yeah, it's still going. This one here too from AP Physio said XRPL does all the base work. XRP native token provides the liquidity. That's a very good point, an important point. And the point is that all the issue tokens have efficiencies, but building use cases specifically for XRP required to drive further utility. It really is that liquidity. It's the liquidity hub, which is a Ripple product too. It's really the liquidity, which is what is really lacking out there. Let's finish this up here, Jeff, because I know we started it. There's a lot of stuff to get to.
Oh, we got a ton of stuff, but just on the just real quick on the just solidifying on the Coil note, an open letter to the community. Coil bids farewell.
Is that, I don't know how they put that out there like that?
That's how they put it out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Coil bids farewell, but not goodbye. I don't know what that means. So that means that
goodbye.
That means farewell.
It means goodbye. It means that if some miracle comes along, they could resurrect the project, but never say never. So I think what that means. But.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Satoshi, there is much more left to do, and I'm excited to carry on this work with all of you. So
okay,
the last message from Satoshi was there's a lot left to do, and then that was the last we heard from Satoshi.
11 years ago, 10 years plus. That was.
So hopefully we'll hear from Stefan again. But and that's why I believe there's a lot of technology in Coil, and hopefully they do something amazing with it. Hopefully they can wrap it into something pretty cool.
Yeah. So really appreciate this. Michael Murphy, YouTube member of On the Chain. Appreciate that. On the Chain is the most respectful chat on YouTube. And also too, guys, I mean, we always appreciate, folks like Michael Murphy who and everybody that comes in every day. But really cool that you guys do join the channel. It's nominal, but it helps. It helps in a lot of ways. And it's, again, the content is always free here at On the Chain. Especially if you go to our website, it's free. But it's just an extra way to support us.
And then you can see the little graphic next to the name,
YouTube member Jim D.
supporter. Yeah,
OTC member, I should say.
Another OTC member. There's some interesting theories being bandied about nations to be backing their CBDC currencies with native commodities to region like gold, silver, oil, diamond, etc. But XRP being the global currency, and that's a topic.
Oh, geez, let's not unpack that. That's a lot. We'll spend the rest of the show on that, Jeff. We got a lot to get to today, but that's you opening a can of worms there, Jim D.
That's a good conversation. Oh, by the way, so tomorrow night we're going to have an attorney. Today's Saturday. Tomorrow night we're going to have an attorney with us, and it's going to be an interesting conversation.
It's going to be a really interesting conversation. It's somebody that hasn't been out there, but it's an important thing, and it really how it loops into this whole thing with the SEC, because it's another frontal attack that makes an awful lot of sense. So you're not going to want to miss this tomorrow night. We're excited about it, and we're looking forward to it. So anyway, Jeff, let's finish this up, and then let's jump into some other stuff. So he goes on to say, until there are these XRP-based projects that are supported by you, the price of XRP is reliant purely on fees and speculation. I'm not 100% with that. There's a lot more that goes into that. The use of XRP, especially in Liquidity Hub and the liquidity, which has been brought up. The XRPL can be incredibly successful without XRP ever being a high value asset, which is a true statement. The more tokens issued on the XRPL doing what XRP does further removes value from XRP. People need to build products, utility that the native XRP token, and you need to be not only supporting this, but also demanding it as well. As simple as that. XRP is just another token on the XRPL. Hopefully this makes you more aware, drives the point that if you want XRP to be more valuable, you need to add that value. Build and support projects that use the native XRP token so that it can act as a successful competitor to all other tokens in the XRPL. Disregard the noise around buybacks, riddlers. I don't know about that, Jeff. The riddlers are very important to this community, so I'm going to disagree heavily with that.
And what about buybacks and bears?
buyback spot on. And I'm going to welcome everybody from the Bob Cugs Discord here as well. We have a lot of folks in here from that. Fancy figures you see bandied about. Yeah, like, 10,000 XRP. Do we like to dream about it? Hell yeah, we do. But I think we'll all be happy once it hits 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, whatever. Come on, give me 70, 70, 75, 75, 100, Jeff.
We're going to be happy when it hits $1, Chip.
When it hits $1, I think there'll be some excitement.
There's going to be some celebration. People are going to be like, yeah, XRP at $1.
I mean, when it passes the all-time high, 384, whatever it was, there's some people say it was 380, 384, just hit $4. It will be like we passed the all-time high.
Yeah, it's got to hit. Yeah, it's got to go past that. It's got to hit the 589 mark. $5.89.
Oh, that
will be a moment that goes down in history. It'll be like the pizza day for Bitcoin, and it's going to be the 589 day when it finally hits $5.89 and beyond, and that puts it well over the all-time high back in 2000, way back in 2018.
Yeah, and once that happens, it'll be forgotten about as quickly as it happened. So if you want
then
value,
it'll go back to 30 cents. So
pretty much, yeah. If you want value in your XRP, build projects that use XRP natively.
That's true. Yeah.
Support those projects and add value. Discuss. Okay, well, listen, Jeff and I want to launch the Badass Yeti token in conjunction with our Badass Yeti NFT project. However, we have two rules here at On the Chain. One of them is stay out of court. The other one, stay out of jail. So until we get some clarity from Congress, or until Jeff and I happen to move to another country, that's probably never going to happen. So just so you guys know, we had a lot of thoughts and really well thought out plan, white paper. We did so much work on what we wanted to roll out with vision and everything. And the SEC has not only been in your back pocket, but it's also been hampering builders like us who are building stuff in the space. And it's crushing us. And Brad Garlinghouse is right. They're not going to leave. They've left. They've been leaving for years. And, I also think that they got Stu Alderati. I had commented, or I may have put something on Twitter, but he had put something out. He had been interviewed. He's the general counsel of Ripple. And he had been interviewed in an article. And one of the things he said, look, if you are a builder in the space, do not set up shop in the United States. And what a lot of people interpreted that was, oh, they're conceding. You see, they're going to win, they're going to lose. No, what I think what he was doing was going on offense of promoting the idea that has happened, what Brad Garlinghouse has been happened for years. He's telling people you will be sued. You will get a Wells notice, that there will be further litigation against you, whether you go in and talk to them or you sit on the sidelines. You're going to get a Wells notice. So some people said like, well, it just sounds like they're rolling over. No, this is called offense. You have to promote what has been happening already, which is people are leaving, Jeff. I mean, it's not like something new, something different, but Jeff, something.
Where so I said, okay, be right back, building a project that uses XRP.
I have to tell you, Jeff, there's as of course we come on this podcast and we talk about this stuff, but Jeff and I do a lot of work behind the scenes, and looking to be builders. And I know a lot of other folks are out there too. Easier said than done, right? It's not exactly the easiest damn thing. And people think definitely even launching an NFT project. Listen, I have such a newfound respect for anybody that has an NFT project, whether successful or not, or even the ones that have risen to that pinnacle. And I'll tell you what, like that, man, set that bar. X-Punks, amazing. X-Spectre, that raised bar of wowness and what it's done for the ecosystem is incredible. And there's a ton of projects. I'm not just singling those, just two of the most successful ones out there. And then right up there with the Pudgy Penguins, it was released on ETH, which this turned into a brand and turned into a sensation. That stuff is like in stores and it's everywhere. Yeah,
it's amazing, Chip. I mean, the newfound respect, going into this and looking at the back end of an NFT and seeing, okay, here's how it's tracked and documented for all time in the blockchain and how it can change hands and the ownership and all of that. And the significance, or I say the importance of NFT for future business. At this point in time, it's documented. NFT will have a life that we haven't even seen fully develop yet in the space, but the building of the NFT itself, Chip, even what we learned yesterday about it, it's mind numbing. All the different things that go into, establishing a differentiator from one to the next, developing and building rarities into a project. How do you differentiate that? How does one NFT within a project stand out from the others? How does all that happen? What goes into it? How much time and effort? I don't care if you take just a basic 16-bit graphic of a dot, a couple of dots on a piece of paper. You say, hey, or as a JPEG, you say, hey, it's just a JPEG. What's the big deal? And then you realize all the things that go into it to then immortalize that one NFT into the blockchain, but everything that differentiates it. I mean, it's amazing. And like I said, Chip, seeing it, I've got a whole newfound respect as we've gone through the development of this one project for the Badass Yeti. It's so different than I would have ever expected, and it's just seemed back in the beginning when we first started talking about it to where we are now. Back then, so well, just it won't be that difficult. And now what we've gone through to get to this point,
everybody thinks it's an, even us maybe to some extent, you think it's an easy button. You just press the easy button. Remember that button they had like for some, I don't remember that was like Staples or one of these office supply stores. They actually launched, and I had one for a while. I don't know what ended up happening to it, but it was a button. It was called the easy button, and you just pressed it and it said that was easy. And it's like, it was like the easy button. You just press the easy button and that was easy. Sounds great, but life doesn't work that way. And anytime you build any business, any venture, you can just workshop the hell out of it, think of every possible angle, and you're not even close to what it really looks like. So that's kind of where that goes.
Yep. I want to put this one back from Mark. Great to be here. One of the best channels in the space. There you go. See that?
I wish I wish the YouTube would reflect that way instead of losing 75 people in 1 month. I mean, that seems a little bit weird. Like our traction grows, we see new people all the time, but yet YouTube tells us that we lost 75 people this month, and I'm not buying it, Jeff.
Instead of advancing, that makes no sense.
And they keep us in a holding pattern, and then we just actually lose people because someone goes like, I'm going to go unsubscribe. I rarely unsubscribe to anything, Jeff. Like, I get the notices. I might turn the notice off. But it's just not even a happy, thing where you do that.
Exactly. So Laurel's saying, hey guys, how long do you think it takes before this new day is coming?
It's a good question.
Really starts.
It's in progress. So there is some progress on that. We will jump into that. But Jeff, there's a direction I want to go real quick, just to kind of get some of this out of the way here. But so I put up a poll and I said, which of these do you find the most irritating? And there were 4 options. So the first one was wearing wet socks, step on a Lego barefoot, getting a splinter, or the SEC. And so if you look at this, like the SEC was 87%, but right behind that, Jeff, and this was debated in the comments, that the next worst one was wearing wet socks. And someone even said that wearing wet socks inside of shoes, because you get all those blisters in your feet. And if you guys have ever been through that, wearing wet socks, and generally that's when you stepped in like a puddle and then you have to walk for a while with wet socks inside of a shoe and your shoe's wet. But I don't know if you've ever stepped on a Lego barefoot. That's a tough one.
I'm going to put the stepping on a Lego barefoot above wearing wet socks. Wearing wet socks, you can kind of get over it, but that one moment in time when you step on that Lego is like, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's absolutely the worst. What the hell would I just?
And it's not just one. Sometimes it's like there's like 2 together, and you get a you get a double owie. It's ridiculous. And you get the double owie. So that's one of it. So Jeff, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I guess last week they had this conference. It was called the ETH for Ethereum, the ETH conference Denver, EthDenver conference, right?
Yeah.
And Mark wants us to start over because he came in from shelving. No, Mark, it doesn't work that way. You can rewind, but that's cool.
You shouldn't had us on.
So Jeff, we play the BitConnect, right? We play the ridiculous one where Vitalik Abuterin comes out and he's rapping, he's doing this stupid thing. He's doing like the massive fail around like ETH promotion and events and stuff. just when you thought you saw, like, how could seeing how worse could it get, Jeff? It gets worse.
It can always get worse.
How is that? Let's take a look. Here we go. Okay, so this was at the ETH conference. Apparently, I believe this was the opener. But just listen into there, listen to the words, and see if you guys can decipher this. And then they zoom in. But here we go. And this was an actual thing. And someone thought this was a good idea. All right, so FSBF, F Kyle and Suzu, Duquan and Mashinsky. This is how they started off, right? Of course, they actually said the word. This is a real song. There's people dressed. Now, if you guys are listening on the podcast, there are people dressed in ridiculous outfits. They're like gold jumpsuits. And they're like, they just came out from some cult, right? Like the ETH cult, like they just had a meeting backstage and they said, do you have your jumpsuit? Yeah, I have my jumpsuit. Like, it's ridiculous from top. Yeah, it's one I Willie says, is it a cult? It looks like a cult, right?
It does look like a cult.
And there's some dude playing the guitar, and you know for sure that he's the cult leader. Now, if you can see, dude, I've never seen anybody so excited to play a guitar. Now, I do remember as a kid going away to like these.
Is
like
that
we
excitement right there?
Like we had these Christian camps. Like you'd go to a camp, and there'd always be like a leader, and he had the guitar. And he, I went to a Catholic school, and Father Paul had this guitar. He was a Franciscan. Franciscans, just Jeff, a little bit of my childhood, but Franciscans, they don't believe you don't own anything. You own nothing. Okay, they wear simple robes, simple dress. But Father Paul had this guitar, and one time I asked him in class. He was actually a teacher at my high school. And I said, yeah, Father Paul, just one quick question, man. You guys don't own anything. Who owns that guitar you're always carrying around and playing in class? And he's like, well, I don't actually own the guitar. It's kind of borrowed. I'm like, well, if you don't own it, you mind if I take it? I mean, you mind if I, you pass it along and maybe the students can have it for a little bit? And it was a really nice guitar. It was like an expensive guitar. I'm like, well, who paid that for that guitar? Obviously, I got in trouble a lot for asking these questions. And I got down to the headmaster's office and,
paddled.
I didn't get paddled, Jeff, but there was a whole weird vibe at that school. That's why I only stayed there 2 years. I had to get out of there. But and I went to the public school, and it was just like, it was just such a relief to get out of from all that. But it's like the whole idea of the guy playing the guitar is super excited about this thing. Jumpsuits. Prison time. Let's listen to the rest of this. Okay. It gets worse.
This is like we're being tortured.
It gets worse, Jeff.
In the next bull market, we promise not to use centralized exchanges run by these toxic dudes. Next word. It goes, not your keys, not your coins. When will we ever learn? Never.
It's hard to hear the things, but they say, not your keys, not your coins. When will we ever learn? So take heed of the one and only called of the Buffcom. I don't know what the hell that is, Jeff. Vitalik rides on a magical steed. The mighty proud Buffcon. What the hell is this stuff, Jeff?
Buffacorn.
I don't know what the hell that is. Buffacorn. What the hell's that? And then there's a picture of SBF up there. Dude, this was like,
why do this? Why do this knowing it's going to be recorded for all time?
What?
Honestly, we get to play it back and laugh.
I started high and wide. There was one dude that recorded this. Thank you, dude. One dude that recorded this and thought this was going to be
one guy.
One guy recorded this. It's just like a. So let's just finish this. Come on. I know it's painful, guys, but let's just get through it together. Look, the guy was super happy to take his part playing the guitar and start singing.
So take heed of the one and only, the call of the Buffacorn. Vitalik rides on a magical
steed.
Oh my God.
Vitalik rides on a magical steed. Jeff, what the hell? Okay, so but then now it gets a little bit. So apparently the girl that's in the jumpsuit, the weird gold jumpsuit, I saw some other things where she was telling jokes and honestly was landing like a fart in church, Jeff. Not doing really well. It was just like, here we go. But here this is she tells a joke, and just listen to the reaction of the crowd, okay?
All right, let's do a joke about Satoshi.
Oh no. That's not gonna go well.
The only thing that disappeared faster than Satoshi was all of our money in FTX.
Oh my god.
What the hell? Even she knows that landed. I mean,
Oh my
after you
God.
just sing that ridiculous song,
Oh god.
I mean,
It could be one or the other. It can be one or the other. It can't be both.
Jeff, can this be
These
one of our
people-
sound effects? I mean, what the hell is
we
that?
need to get that. Can we capture that? Oh, okay. We need to capture that sound.
Yeah, I'm dying on stage, but that's okay. We'll save it with the song. I mean, what the hell, Jeff?
We'll save it with a song. Let me tell you,
The
it's
song is
joke, and
gonna
then we're gonna
crush
sing this awesome.
The song is gonna kill. I mean, this is crazy stuff.
Oh,
Like, anytime we play something, when Gary Gensler does something, like, you know, we just play this sound effect. Like, we put it up to watch so we can all share in it together and laugh and have a good laugh.
oh
That's
my
why.
God. Why are you
It's-
penalizing us?
Yeah, I mean, it's so I will show you this, Jeff. So somebody else, I try to find everything I possibly could find from this conference. Apparently not everybody thought it was worthy of sharing, but somebody, Autism Capital, shared this. This was the toilet paper at
Who are these
EthDenver. This is the toilet paper there. And if you see, it has Sam Bankman-Fried on it. Like, I don't even know if I want to wipe my behind with that, Jeff, to be honest. Okay. So all the toilet paper had Sam's
Oh my God.
had an
That's
imprint of Sam Bankman-Fried, the
Uh,
scam artist, on it. Like, I mean, Jeff, do you want to use toilet paper that has like ink printed on it? I'm like, this is. I mean, it sounds funny, but I mean, do you really want to use it, or do you run to a different restroom that has like normal TP? You know what I mean?
right.
I need
Exactly.
TP for my bunghole. I mean, right? It's like, I mean, it's just ridiculous that I need TP for my bunghole. I mean, for real, Jeff, this is ridiculous. Holy cow. I mean, guys, I mean, you can say a lot of things about a lot of different communities, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of stuff they're smoking over that ETH community too. This is scary stuff, Jeff, right? Am I wrong here?
Oh God, that's awesome.
Holy cow. But
Too much. This is too much.
it's like, as you would say, right? I love laughing. We had a good laugh on this, but wait, Jeff, there's more.
Parents
So,
must be so proud.
right?
Holy crap. We need to get that sound effect.
I mean, we got to clean it up a little bit, take some of the buzz out of there. That's gonna be our new sound effect. We're gonna grab that, Jeff. We're gonna take that. It's just, it's horrendous.
It's good.
So Hester Peirce was on Tony from Thinking Crypto's show. He did another great interview with her.
Mhm.
Of course, we invited her on here. In order, staff told us we talked too much about XRP. It's a good thing Tony doesn't ever talk about XRP, because he's had her on 3 or 4 times. She's like a regular guest over there. But apparently that's not the reason. The real reason is something else. But they just say, "Oh, you guys talk about it." It's not a slight against Tony, but that's what they tell. A buffacorn is a magical, fantastical animal that live in communities atop Colorado's mountain peaks. Michael Murphy, thank you for gracing us with that. And it still makes less sense than it did before. A buffacorn. Because who knows what a buffacorn is?
Sounds like Beavis and Butthead.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. We'll just do Beavis and Butthead sound effects all day long. So,
Yeah, fire.
fire, TP for my bunghole. So, Jeff, look at this. So Hester Peirce is on here. I know you haven't seen this yet. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I did tweet about it. But I want you to break this down for us. I want to get your first reaction. Let's listen in.
Group's up for a Grammy.
No lie. Well, that doesn't surprise me.
It's just so frustrating. And people wanted me to ask you, how do we make you the chair of the SEC?
This is not about personalities. This is about an institutional problem that we really need to solve. And so there's a very clear path forward, right? It's too bad we didn't start the path forward a couple of years ago, but we could still do it. So what do? we, the SEC, could put out a document, a discussion document, to say, take each of these areas separately, right? What are we going to do on token securities token offerings? What are we going to do on staking? What are we going to do on crypto lending, NFTs, whatever you want to look at? Say, here are some parameters that we're thinking when we look at this. We're seeing these things are sort of signals that something might be a securities offer.
Okay, so let's just stop it right there, Jeff, and let's workshop this. What is she talking about, Jeff?
I'm just trying to get over the difference in personalities here. So Tony is like super boisterous and happy. I've never seen Hester Peirce. She just seems so
lifeless,
uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't understand it, but they're just to workshop it and put the whole thing in summation without even having to really go through and listen to the rest of it. There is a systemic problem at the SEC, and so can Hester Peirce correct it? Even if she took over as chair, could she correct it? There's a systemic problem in many of these appointed positions and the committees or entities that are taking it upon themselves to make up a decision and really try to put together legal responses or trying to set the tone, and the SEC is one of them. The SEC was put together in order to protect retail investors and monitor companies from not selling unregistered securities that could potentially then take advantage of those that are investing. And now it's gone so much beyond that. Now they truly believe that their protection of a retail investor means that it's their responsibility to make sure you don't spend your money. And they're going to decide winners from losers, and they're going to decide what value you need to have, what kind of assets you need to have in order to invest to make more money. And it's just, the whole thing is so out of whack. I mean, that just is kind of like very, very elementary shit. But I think there's a major systemic problem within the agencies, the SEC, the CFTC, and many of the other three-letter agencies, and it goes so far beyond. It's not even a matter of hey, let's put someone else in his place, because there was a problem before that, and there was a problem before that, and so it's just they're not beholden, I guess, Chip, to finalize it. They're not beholden to anybody except for the one that appointed them.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that point is solid on. So another point that I want to kind of drill down on: what in the hell happened to Hester Peirce? Right? You nailed it. Right? Lifeless. She cracks a little bit of a smile when Tony says that. And if you look at where we stopped in the video, Tony's like, "There's a bad smell around the SEC." He's grabbing his nose. It's just where we stopped the video. It's not really there, but one of the things that I have issue with is, like, Hester Peirce seems to be degrading with the way she looks at things. For example, she used to be all about, if we're going to put a document out, we're going to talk about put these positive things. Now what she's talking about is putting a document about how the SEC thinks about if it's a security, if an NFT, and no, the SEC shouldn't be doing any of this. The SEC has no business regulating a commodity. So she's talking about now, what happens is when you get so far into this and you are around this negativity all the time, she thinks it's a good idea that they should put a documents out now about how they think about it. We know how you think about it. Enforcement by litigation. This is how you think about it. You enforce, this is how you try to get these actions. And it's not against Hester Peirce really per se, but Jeff, what is she talking about putting a document out? Let's put a document out about how we think about these things and whether it's a security or not. No. How about Congress takes care of that? How about you don't do any action since you don't have clear guidelines to be able to enforce anything? So how about you back off, you sit down, and you stop talking about let's put documents out. I have a whole problem with this entire clip, Jeff. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And Michael Murphy also hits it. She keeps talking about rules that don't exist.
Correct.
A little concerned about Crypto Mom after this interview, and that's it. That's spot on. You don't even have to go through the rest of the interview. I mean, it's already there's a problem here, and the systemic problem again. Now she's part of the systemic problem. It sounds
Correct.
like, based on this interview, but maybe she has to keep. Yeah, and the problem is they have to walk a very, very fine line, and so she's not in a position where she can come out and blast the leadership within the SEC. So they're under very strict guideline. But that being said, it's like, come on already. This is ridiculous. Then if that's the case, then spin it back, just like Gary did in the beginning, Gary Gensler, and he was right when he said that if they want the rules, then Congress needs to pass it. Let Congress pass the legislation to give them the rules and the guidelines. So that should be the consistent, continuous message from the SEC. We don't write the rules. If you want rules, then pass it through Congress. If you don't pass it through Congress, then we're going to act according to our outdated rules, and we're going to come up with an answer on how we're going to treat this, because it can't be left open-ended. And that's what's happening right now, is that they're saying, Gary's like, screw it, I'm going to do what I do, whatever. We're going to make the rule. If you guys aren't going to legislate, but Gary prefaced all of that right in the beginning and said, if you guys want clear regulatory clarity, pass the legislation to make it happen. You pass the legislation, we'll follow through. But this is a problem. So it's not even just the SEC. Again, it's not just the agency. It's also those within Congress that aren't doing what they're supposed to do, which goes back to the question, when is the new day coming? The new day has started, and we're starting to see it's starting to churn. Those, there's legislation little by little will start dropping. And now we'll see where the cards fall, so that new day better, that the sun better rise. It better not be a cloudy day.
Crypto OG says that Hester Peirce hates Gary. I bet she pushes them in the hall when Gary actually comes into the office, which probably is never, but that's a funny observation. So let's listen to the rest of this.
Unfortunately, it's past my time.
Is it really?
I'm going to have to bail. Yep.
Oh,
I have to bail.
All right. Well, let me finish this up, Jeff.
But you finish it up, because you guys hang in there. There's a lot of great stuff to go through yet. Hang in there with Chip, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chip, I will chat with you later.
Yeah, man. So we got late start today. You got some technical difficulties, which happens sometimes, guys. So you are stuck here with the rest of it. But we got some stuff. Let's listen to the rest of this. I want to hear your comments, what you guys think about the rest of this interview. Thank you for sharing already. Jason says that Gensler should be recused from enforcement votes. That makes 2-2 in political lines. No more enforcement actions. Yeah. Also, since he came out, something that Stu Alderati brought up, the fact that based on the outcome of a case, he should be precluded and recuse himself because he is talking about the outcome, prejudging an outcome before it happens. So that was a great comment by Stu Alderati. So his vote should be rescinded. And let's listen in, guys.
And therefore would require registration. And here's what we're thinking in terms of what a registration regime would look like, what kind of information we're trying to get out. Okay, so you put that out, and you invite people in to have a public roundtable. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but I think it's important to have these conversations out in the open, rather than having them be conversations between us, the regulator, and one entity. You want to make sure that not only the entities offering these products and services or tokens, but also people who would be buying those products and services or tokens.
Okay, let me stop that there, because she's talking about now she's talking about having roundtables. So why would the SEC, who enforces legislation, right? They're a regulatory body. Why would the SEC be holding roundtables with the public? This is something Congress should be doing. Congress actually creates the legislation, which gets passed in the House and the Senate and ultimately signed by the president. I think that she's gotten off track here. And the problem with doing interviews, the problem with giving speeches, is that we're humans. We kind of just talk as we go. Sometimes we say things that just off the cuff, and again, to be conscious, even on the podcast, there's times where Jeff and I may have misspoken. We have, because you just got caught up in whatever it is, the moment. But look, there's times where everything you say is not going to be 100% spot on. Does she really believe this? I think she's just getting caught up in this whole this action of, you know, talking about the SEC having roundtables. This roundtable idea is a good one, but the SEC that has no business dealing with digital assets in the first place should not be holding roundtables. Just my opinion, guys. I want to hear what you think. Throw some comments in there. I want to hear what you're thinking on this. Let's continue on, please.
Have that conversation. Perhaps we could do that jointly with the CFTC. I think that'd be even better. And then from that, we can either develop a rule or an exemptive order, which would then allow people to actually come in and register, because some of those fundamental issues would then be resolved. You wouldn't have to resolve them every time someone comes in. Then our staff, our disclosure staff, could do what it always does, which is work to make sure that the unique aspects of each offering or each product, that those unique aspects are coming through in the disclosures. And that's what we could do. And even if Congress ended up deciding they wanted to legislate, they could draw on all that work we did and use that in writing their legislation. That's what we need to be doing. That doesn't require, I mean, we could start doing that tomorrow if we wanted to. So,
okay, so no disrespect to Hester Peirce, but thank you, but no thank you. We don't need SEC's help and guidance about how we think about this, because we already have had a number of bills in the House, in the Senate. Token taxonomy that Warren Davidson's office put out almost 4 years ago today. Had that been passed, none of this would have happened. None of us would be talking about it. Library wouldn't have happened. It would have all been a moot issue. But what happened? We don't need the SEC providing guidance on this. That's a horrific idea. And even though Hester Peirce has her mind and heart in the right place and is an advocate of crypto, it's the wrong approach to have the regulatory body known as the SEC, and enforcement by litigation, as I like to call it, because that's what they do. They litigate, and that's how they go ahead, and that's how they're going to create the guidelines, since they're also murky right now. She talks about Congress, which she is in the right about Congress, but I don't know that Congress needs to take the lead from the SEC. One thing that they could look at is Hester Peirce's paper that she put out on the safe harbor, which would give, it's been rewritten twice, but the very first draft of that was 3 years. Company starts up, has 3 years to become decentralized 100%, because out of the gate, you're starting a project. Is it 100% decentralized? Someone could argue that Ripple in its earlier stages was not decentralized. So there's always a bit of it as well. Let me think about, what do we see here? Let me see. Okay. So anyway, Jeff's probably listening in here, but Tony, great interview. Always are able to extract really good stuff from no matter who you're interviewing. Tony does an amazing job at that. Just thought I would talk a little bit about our NFT project. We save it to the end because we want to get to all the good stuff. But anyway, like Jeff and I said, a lot of work goes into this. We're excited about it. We'll keep you guys informed about it. Something we wanted to do for quite a long time. We've been working on it for a while, but I wanted to give you just a glimpse of a couple other Yetis here. This is there you go. There's one of the badass Yetis right there. And again, they all belong to different tribes. They have different attributes to them. And here's another guy as well. So there you go. So these are the badass Yetis. Will be an NFT project launching soon. But here you go. Here's a little bit of a preview just so you guys can get an idea of what this looks like. And again, excited to be doing it. What else do we have here? I think that's really great. What I wanted to do is just thank everybody, for coming here, sharing this. Appreciate all you guys do. Especially appreciate the members like, Jim D and Michael and other folks in here that have joined the channel. Again, you can click that join button. If you're on mobile, good luck finding that. You got to move some stuff over. I don't know why they don't have that more prominent. But again, it's another way you can support and help the channel. If you like it, if you don't, keep your thoughts to yourself. If you don't like it, don't spread that on crypto Twitter or everything. If you do like it, tell everybody. Wake your friends, your family, your neighbors. Tell them about it. Tell some of your enemies about it. Maybe they'll become friends. Who knows? But anyway, each and every week, Jeff and I really enjoy you guys coming in here. Tomorrow, we got a fantastic interview. I think you guys are really going to love hearing about this. We're going to break it down. We're going to get into specifics. but it's going to be a great one. And thank you, Toby. Appreciate that. Always great. Dirk Vander Goodish, I don't even know how to say that. Hello from Belgium. Dirk, very good to have you with us here today as well. All of you guys in the chat, very respectful, some of the smartest people in crypto, if not the smartest people. And it's evident that we could do a other side show just on your comments. But that's why Jeff and I like to do the show live, because you guys are part of creating the show with us. And we do it live, and we have a bunch of agenda topics. We don't get the most of them, but we have freedom to move around based on what we're talking about and maybe the direction we want to go. But you guys drive a lot of the show, so that's why it's very integral to have you guys here. Because if Jeff and I were just sitting here talking to ourselves, I don't know, it wouldn't be the same vibe. So guys, really appreciate it. Jeff's already out of here. Jeff and Chip and myself and all the people over here. Jeff, what am I talking about? From Jeff and myself, guys. We will see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. See you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff, ow!
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.